Good morning children, this is Priya from Alpha Group of Institutions and welcome back to our social geography lesson. So today is a second session related to this chapter, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife. So this is the second chapter in geography book, that is land, soil, water and natural vegetation. Children, till in the last session we had discussed regarding the conservation measures, degradation of soil, land use, soil, all these things we had discussed. What all these things? Let us see from the beginning. First we spoke about land, the uses of land, common property resources, changes in land over use of time. These are the pictures representing, and conservation of land resources, landslides, mitigation techniques, soil, factors of soil formation, degradation of soil, conservation measures, and then pictures regarding conservation measures and the activity to do a practical thing to find out the soil things. Okay, how the soil is getting washed away along with the water and the difference between the two trays with the plants and one with the plain soil. So this is the activity still in the last session we had discussed, and in today's session we are going to discuss something other than land, that is land and soil we had discussed, and today we are going to discuss the third thing, and let us see what is something about the water. Okay guys, now here the water, it is a picture which represents regarding the water, oxygen atom, hydrogen atom, two hydrogen atoms, right? Yes, here H2O. Do you know in 1975 the consumption of water for human use was 3850 cu kilometers per year, km per year, km per year, and it soared to more than 6000 cu km per year in the year 2000. Do you know another thing? A dripping tap weighs 1200 liters in a year. So these are the facts which we need to know guys, and let us see what is the things regarding the water, what are the points here regarding the water. Let me read first. Water is a vital renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. It is therefore appropriately called the water planet. It was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back. Fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%. Only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use. It is found as groundwater, as surface water in rivers and lakes, as water vapor in the atmosphere. Nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland and mountain regions. Fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%. So, in order to discuss about this in detail, children, water is a necessary renewable resource. It is a very necessary renewable resource, and water covers almost 3/4 of the earth's surface. Hence our planet is also called as water planet, and around 3.5 billion years back life began for the first time in the water of the primitive oceans, the old oceans. Oceans occupy more than 2/3 of the earth's surface. It supports various forms of plants and animals which are rich in variety. Actually, it supports various forms of what lives, plants and animal lives which are rich in variety. And however, the waters of oceans can't be utilized for regular consumption because they are saline in nature. They are salty in nature. Fresh water occupies more than 2.7% of the total available amount of water, which is really low. Out of this, approximately 70% of water is available in the form of ice sheets and glaciers in Greenland, Antarctica and other mountain regions. And these sources are like inaccessible, not in use in proper use due to their location. And due to this, humans can use only 1% of available fresh water. They are found as surface water in the form of lakes and rivers, or as groundwaters and water vapor present in the atmosphere, like Earth's atmosphere. Okay, and currently at present the most precious, most valuable substance on the earth is only the pure water, fresh water, and you cannot add or subtract water from the earth's surface. You cannot add water, or else you cannot even decrease the water level in the earth's surface. Its total volume will always be constant. It maintains its constancy. Okay, and as the water is in constant motion, it keeps cycling from one ocean to another, air, river, lakes and land via different process such as runoff, precipitation and evaporation method. And the whole process is referred to as dash. About what? The whole process is referred to as water cycle. And water is a huge amounts. When water is taken in huge amounts, these huge amounts are utilized by human beings for process like such as we are using for what? The water is used in the process for us like washing, drinking, cooking and production purpose, industrial purposes. Okay, right? And other similar usage, the other usage which includes also water is like used for generation of electricity in dams. Water is used for generating what? Electricity in dams and reservoirs. Industries, agriculture, among others, everybody needs water, and water is utilized for all the purpose in which humans and animals are linked with. Increase in population, increase in urbanization and prices of food, people rise their living standards. They just develop their living levels, the level of standards, and are some of the other reasons which are caused because of the usage of the shortage of water supply. And it is also like it also leads to water sources drying up and getting severely polluted. And because of these severe population and pollution and the demand over the food and everything which is available, it started polluting the water level in the ground, and which results in like drying up, the water is getting dried and getting severely polluted. The water maintains its constant level, but the drawback is we humans are destroying it with polluting the water, and because of global warming also. These are the things which we need to know about the water. Next comes the problems of water availability. There is scarcity of water in many regions of the world. Most of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, parts of South America and entire Australia are facing shortages in fresh water supply. Countries located in climatic zones most susceptible to droughts face great problems of water scarcity. Thus, water shortage may be a consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitation, or the scarcity is caused by overexploitation and contamination of water sources. Many places, children, problems of water availability, when we take into consideration, many places in the world are facing the same problem like shortage of water, and majority of Asia, Australia, Africa and Mexico, Western USA and another various South American countries are facing the problem of water shortage. Those countries which are situated in climatic zones that face scarcity of water are majorly affected, and due to variations in annual and seasonal precipitation, water shortages are occurring at a rapid high level rate, and countries located in climatic zones are most susceptible to droughts which face like great problems of water scarcity. And apart from this, the water sources are being overexploited. Water sources are being overexploited and getting contaminated, getting polluted on a large scale as well. So, maximum part of the water sources are being contaminated because of our human pollution level and global warming, and what are the chemicals, industrial purpose, everything we started reducing the water purity, and which leads to the shortage of water. Okay. Next, conservation of water resources. Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. Discharge of untreated and partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals and industrial effluents in water bodies are major contaminants. Most of these chemicals, being non-biodegradable, reach human bodies through water, and water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. Water is used for irrigation fields. The canals should be properly lined to minimize losses by water seepage. Sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. And in dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. The valuable water resource can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of conservation. So, in order to explain this in brief regarding the conservation of water resources, the world is facing a very big problem. The world is facing a major problem like adequate, insufficient and clean water, like there is no availability, very less availability of clean water has almost become impossible. The sufficient water availability, the sufficient clean water availability become very low, and the government is taking various steps to conserve the source of water. It means the government is taking many actions to save the water purity, and although water is a renewable resource, still pollution and overuse is making it unfit for use. However it is a renewable resource, it gets purified automatically, and through the water cycle is it getting cycled, but we humans, because of our over pollution and overuse, we are making it unfit, and we are making it to possible of like scarcity in the pure water availability. And discharge of untreated sewage. Discharge, here if you see guys, sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through sewage and evaporation. This is sewage, not seepage, SEEWAGE. Okay. Discharge of untreated sewage, chemical waste and waste from factories are few of the major. Maximum the one of the main reason for this polluted water is like chemical waste, and also which the waste comes from the factories are the one of the major big source of water pollution, one of the like a very big reason for water pollution. And because of these things water becomes polluted, water gets contaminated, polluted with harsh chemicals like pesticides, metals and nitrates. And these chemicals, these type of chemicals are non-biodegradable in nature, and they enter our body through the water. When we are taking that water which is contaminated with these metals, pesticides, as they do not get biodegrade, as they are not biodegradable, it can easily enter the human body or animals along with the water. In order to control water pollution, the effluents present in it need to be treated before they are released into the water bodies. So, to control these type of chemicals from the water leaking into the, mixing into the water, such factories should take actions like filtering those chemicals and then release into the water. Vegetation, vegetation vegetation cover and forests are capable of slowing the runoff of surface and replenishing the water present underground. To prevent surface runoff, another good method is water harvesting. Those canals which are used to irrigate fields need to be linked in a proper manner in order to minimize losses which is caused due to the seepage of water. In order to check water losses caused due to seepage, one could opt for water sprinkling in the fields. It also reduces water loss caused by irrigation. And those regions which are dry or which have high rate of evaporation because of the temperature, one can use triple or drip irrigation, and one can save an enormous amount of water by using these methods. Okay guys. And next is the natural vegetation. The picture is itself is very nice too. It's I think a very good, very pleasure to see these types of pictures, and it's a pleasure for our eyes too, right? And now when we talk about the natural vegetation and wildlife, the first thing comes here is biosphere. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in the narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere that we call biosphere. In the biosphere, living beings are interrelated and interdependent on each other for survival. This life supporting system is known as the ecosystem. Vegetation and wildlife are valuable resources. There are innumerable uses of plants. Wildlife includes animals, birds, insects as well as the aquatic life forms. They provide us milk, meat, hides and wool. And then next, insects like bees provide us honey, help in pollination of flowers and have an important role to play as decomposers in the ecosystem. The birds feed on insects and act as decomposers as well. So, animals big or small all are integral to maintain balance in the ecosystem. And here biosphere is a region, children, biosphere means what it is? A region that lies in a narrow zone of contact between atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere. You can find natural vegetation and wildlife only in the biosphere, and in this zone all living beings, in this zone all the living beings, this is the biosphere, see, this is the biosphere, which is included along with atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere. Hydrosphere, lithosphere and atmosphere. So, which includes all the three areas is called biosphere, and in this or in this area, in this zone, all living beings are interdependent. They depend between one and each other, and also they are interrelated on each other in order to survive. In order to survive. And this ecosystem of life supporting each other is known as ecosystem. The system in which all types of animals are interrelated and supporting each other to live is called, this type of system is called ecosystem. Wildlife along with vegetation and valuable, like vegetation are these wildlife along with vegetation, they are really treasure, they are valuable and useful resources. Like from plants we get oxygen for breathing, timber, shelter for those animals and for us living in the wild, for animals living in the wild and for us also. And the plant strengthens the soil so that different types of plants, crops can be produced. And underground water also can be stored. Functions in the form of shelter bells, provides us with fruits. Which provides us fruits? All these plants not only becoming like a base for the ground, it also acts as a shelter belt, provides us fruits, vegetables, latex, medicinal herbs, turpentine oil, etc. And there exist several other important usage of plants also. Then insects, animals, birds along with aquatic living beings like the animals, the fishes which are living under water also, they also fall under wildlife only. From them we get hides, milk, wool and meat. Insects such as bees what do they do? They help in flowers pollination, produce honey and act as decomposers in the ecosystem. Vultures are capable of feeding on dead animals, dead organisms, and they are an example of scavengers. They are one of the important cleansers of the environment. These animals, insects, birds, plants, everything we take it as a natural important cleansers of the environment, except human being. We never care about the environment. All animals irrespective of their size, even though whether they are very small or very big, even though microorganisms, they are very important in maintaining what? The balance of ecosystem, maintaining the balance in the ecosystem. And this is the last page, last slide in our today's session. There is a balance in the environment if the relative number of species is not disturbed. Due to indiscriminate killings, several birds and animals have either become extinct or they are on the verge of extinction. It means they are on the line of extinction. Many countries have passed laws declaring that the trades as well as killing of birds and animals are illegal. Conservation of plants and animals is an ethical duty of every citizen. So, with this, let us end this session today, children. And your today's activity is just a reading activity. I want you to read the question answers 1, 2 and 3. First 3 question answers and write a home test and then take a snap and post it in the group. So, what is your today's activity? I want you to read question answers 1, 2 and 3 and then after entering in the classwork only, after entering in the classwork, read it and then write a home test, take a snap and then send it in the group. And another thing is, in page number 20, if you open page number 20 in textbook, you can see the textbook exercises. So, open page number 20, in that Roman number, like Roman number 3, match the following. Roman number 3, match the following. I want you to do both 2 and 3. Both 2 and 3. So, your today's homework and activity are in page number 20, Roman number 2 and 3, that are match the following. What are those? Match the following and just a minute. Tick the correct answer. It means choose the following. So, in page number 20, Roman number 2 and Roman number 3 in textbook, you have to answer it. And then along with that, you have to read the first 3 question answers and write a home test. Correct it with the pencil. After writing the home test, correct it with a pencil, get your parents' sign and then take a photo and post it in the group. Understood, children? So, with this, let us end today's session and meet you in the next session with some other topic which is related with this second chapter, geography. Okay, guys, and this is Priya signing off from Alpha Group of Institutions, and bye, guys.